This is the story of Adora, and how one moment of obsession turned her into a murderer. Adora was the kind of woman you noticed without meaning to. Tall, dark-skinned, with high cheekbones and eyes that seemed to catch the light. Her smile could brighten the busiest street in Lagos. She had admirers, many of them, but no man had ever truly held her attention, until she met Tobena. The problem was, Tobena wasn't hers. He belonged to her best friend, Amaka. The first time Adora saw them together was at a bridal shower in Lekki. Tobena walked in carrying a cake for Amaka, his smile warm, his voice confident. And when his eyes met Adora's for the first time, something dangerous sparked inside her. That night, lying on her bed in Surulere, she replayed Tobena's laugh over and over. Something in her chest tightened. Adora and Amaka had been inseparable since university, the kind of friends who shared clothes, secrets, even each other's lies when needed. When Amaka called to gush about her wedding gown, Adora forced excitement into her voice. But inside, she imagined herself in that gown, walking toward Tobena. Some loves grow slowly. Others crash into you like a Danfo bus in traffic. For Adora, it was already too late. The wedding was grand. Gold drapes, chandeliers, champagne flowing like rain in July. Adora stood beside Amaka as maid of honor, smiling for photos, fixing her veil. But her eyes kept finding Tobena. When he thanked her for being such a good friend to Amaka, her stomach burned. In her mind, she whispered, "It should have been me." After the wedding, Adora visited their new home in Ikoyi often. At first, it seemed innocent, helping Amaka unpack, sharing dinner, gossiping. But soon, she found excuses to be there when Amaka wasn't. One day, Tobena came home early to find her waiting. "I was in the area," she smiled. "Thought I'd keep you company." They talked, football, politics, music. And when she leaned in to pour him a drink, her hand brushed his arm. She saw the flicker of discomfort in his eyes. That flicker became her obsession. It was a rainy night in Lagos. Amaka was stuck in traffic on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Adora and Tobena sat in the living room, sipping wine. She laughed at his joke and touched his knee. "Tobena," she whispered, "have you ever wondered what it would be like if we were together?" His face hardened. "Adora, you're my wife's best friend. That's not a joke I want to hear." Her cheeks burned, not with shame, but with fury. From that night, something in Adora snapped. She could no longer stand to see them together, holding hands, smiling. In her mind, Amaka was no longer a friend. She was an obstacle. Adora convinced herself Tobena did feel something for her. He was just too loyal. And if loyalty was the only thing in her way, she knew how to break it. One Saturday, while Amaka was away in Enugu, Adora offered to help Tobena with house chores. She brought a cake from Yaba, rich, chocolate, dusted with cocoa powder. But before arriving, she stopped at a small shop in Oberland. She handed a man cash. He gave her a small packet of white powder. They sat at the dining table. Rain pattered on the roof. Adora sliced him a piece of cake. When his back was turned, she sprinkled the powder. They laughed. They ate. Then his breathing grew shallow. He clutched his chest, eyes wide. "Adora, what did you—" he gasped. She knelt beside him, tears in her eyes, fake tears. "I'm sorry. I loved you." His last breath was heavy. Then, silence. She dragged his body to the couch, making it look like he'd fallen asleep. She washed the plates, wiped the table, and left quietly. That night, Amaka returned to find her husband cold and unresponsive. The autopsy said, sudden heart attack. Adora stayed close, comforting her friend through the funeral. Months passed. One evening, as they sat in the kitchen, Amaka poured 2 glasses of wine. "Adora," she said quietly, "I know you killed him." Adora froze. "Tobena told me about your little conversation months ago," Amaka said. "I just needed you to confirm it." "And you did." Adora tried to speak, but Amaka's eyes were cold. "That cake you brought?" "I took a piece for myself." and I had it tested. Adora's hands shook. You can't prove anything. Oh, I can, Amaka whispered. But I won't. Yet. You see, Adora, you're going to work for me. Forever. Adora became Amaka's silent prisoner. Every errand, every favor, every humiliating task. She had no choice. Amaka had evidence that could put her in prison for life. But 1 year later, the tables turned again. Amaka was found dead in her apartment. No forced entry, no sign of struggle. Only a glass of wine, still half full. The police suspected suicide. Somewhere in Lagos, Adora smiled to herself. Because some secrets are worth killing twice for. In this city, love is never just love, it's a bargain. And sometimes, the price is death. She thought it was over. But 2 weeks later, a small brown box arrived at her door with no name, no return address. Inside, wrapped in black cloth, was Amaka's phone. The lock screen lit up as soon as she touched it. No passcode. Her chest tightened. Amaka never left her phone unlocked. There were only 2 files in the gallery. One was a video. It showed Amaka, days before her death, speaking directly to the camera. If you're seeing this, I'm gone. And if you're Adora, you should know I left you a gift. Look for the blue envelope. You'll know where. Adora froze. Blue envelope? She searched her apartment. Nothing. That night, unable to sleep, she went to Amaka's flat. It was quiet, untouched since the funeral. In the bedroom drawer, under stacks of folded clothes, she found it. A thick blue envelope. Inside were photographs, not of her, not of Tabena, but of Amaka, with another man. Intimate. Smiling in ways she had never smiled at Tabena. On the back of each photo was a date, every single one taken while she was married. Adora's mind spun. The betrayal cut through her in a way she didn't expect, but there was something else. In the corner of one photo, reflected in a mirror, she saw herself, not looking at them, but walking past in the background. She had been there, that day. The second file on the phone was an audio recording. She pressed play. A man's voice, deep, calm. She was going to leave me, Adora, and she told me everything you did to Tabena. She thought it would scare me away. Instead, it gave me an idea. Her stomach dropped. There was a pause. She's gone now, Adora, and that means you and I can talk. I'll be in touch. The message ended. Her hands shook. She didn't know what was worse, that Amaka had secrets, or that somewhere in Lagos, the man she loved enough to kill for had been replaced by a stranger who might be even more dangerous than she was. The phone buzzed in her hand. Unknown number. One message. Blue envelope. Second one. Check your kitchen cabinet. She turned toward her kitchen slowly, heart pounding. The cabinet door was slightly ajar. Inside, another blue envelope, thicker than the first. She reached for it, and from somewhere deep inside the apartment, a floorboard creaked. She froze, her hand inches from the second blue envelope. Another creak. This one closer. Her eyes darted to the apartment door, still locked. She stepped back slowly, clutching the envelope. The kitchen light flickered, just once, then held steady. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice tighter than she wanted. Silence. Then a low, almost amused laugh drifted from the living room. She spun around. A man was sitting casually in Amaka's old armchair, one leg crossed over the other, a half-empty glass of wine in his hand. He looked mid-30s, sharp suit, eyes so calm they were unsettling. "You're in my house," she hissed. "No," he said, sipping the wine. "You're in mine. Amaka and I shared more than you knew." She gripped the envelope tighter. "You killed her." His smile barely moved. "Maybe. Or maybe you did. That's the beautiful thing about secrets. They can belong to anyone who's willing to pay the price." He gestured toward the envelope in her hand. "Go ahead, open it." Her fingers trembled as she slid the papers out. Dozens of printed messages spilled into her palm. They were between Amaka and Tabena, long before Adora ever poisoned him. Each one painted a picture she had never imagined, arguments, confessions, and one chilling line from Tobena himself. If she ever tries to come between us, I'll make sure she disappears first. She felt dizzy. The man stood, setting his wine down. You see, Adora, he said, stepping toward her, you weren't the only one planning to kill someone. Her breath caught. Why are you telling me this? Because now, he whispered, leaning close enough for her to smell the wine on his breath, you work for me. Or the police find both blue envelopes. Her mind raced, and then another sound. A knock at the door. 3 slow, deliberate taps. The man's smile widened. Right on time. He opened the door without looking through the peephole. Standing there was Detective Ajayi, in plain clothes, holding a single, sealed evidence bag. Inside it was the original packet of poison. Evening, Miss Adora, the detective said, eyes sharp. We need to talk. Behind her, the man closed the door and slid the bolt. Adora's pulse thundered in her ears. She didn't know if she was trapped between 2 enemies, or standing in the middle of a deal she couldn't walk away from. The detective stepped forward. The man stepped closer behind her, and the kitchen light flickered again, before the apartment went completely dark.